What's up, ladies? It is your boy, yeah. Two trips and another banger of a YouTube video. So, guys, basically, this is this in today's topic. This is where I'll be discussing marriages and also divorces, and also as well the things that should be done in marriages, especially when kids are involved. So, you guys will follow this video on YouTube. So, basically, guys, I'm gonna start with dating. Let's say ladies. A lot of ladies say that they've been having bad luck. Into zabo azhambi kahle. Once upon a time, things were going well, and then from there, ever since they got married, now they're inheriting problems. They're seeing problems in their lives. Ladies, that is because when you marry you need to ask yourself when you marry into a family, you need to check if isbongo scam kwena wako is clean. The reason why once upon a time is because you got married, your things are going well. Next thing things are not going well. It's because isbongo scam kwena wako singoli sidinga ukugezwa. How do you do that? Umswan wekas when younger, you mix it together with shaba imbos. Also, ladies as well, if you've had an abortion or you've had a miscarriage, it is important that you slaughter a goat, you mix umswane wekas when younger, and you mix it together into one. And then from there, that's when you cleanse, that's when uyas geza. A lot of women have bad luck in terms of jobs, lack of income, their end relationships come to an end one by one. It is because wakipi says you aborted a child, or it is because you've had a miscarriage. Then I'd like to address this between baby mamas and baby daddies. Baby mamas as well. When you get married as a woman and you marry into that family, number one, ladies, you cannot have a double barrel surname. You cannot. Once you marry into that family, you inherit your husband's surname. The purpose of if I marry a woman today, the purpose of me taking umakoti, it is not because taking umakoti doesn't mean that there are rules and regulations. No, taking umakoti means that uzovusikalga mano baba. We are here to build a family together. We are combining the family so that they both get along. And especially the gentlemen. Gentlemen, when you marry a woman, you cannot go and cheat on her or decide to go and sleep with another woman. As a man, you must take care of her, take care of the household, take care of the kids, be a provider and be a breadwinner. You cannot marry a woman and drag her out of her mother's house and you go and rent. A woman must have ikaya. Which a place which you can call home and say, this is my house that was bought by my husband. You are obliged as a man to buy a woman a car and give her an allowance, and you take care of her men. Then I'm going down to the women. I'm going down to the ladies. Ladies, support your husbands, be with your husbands. Stop cheating on your husbands. As a woman, you are the neck. They say in the man is the head, the woman is the neck. You're supposed to make decisions together and do things together. And you ladies, and remember, gentlemen, when you marry a woman, you're marrying into her family with all the commotion and the drama they're going to bring into the family. Same rule applies for her. When you marry her, you are gonna, as a man, gonna marry into her family and all the commotion and drama that your family is gonna bring into the marriage. You understand? Then I'd like to talk about as well it's the baby daddy and baby mama issue. Ladies, when you have a baby with your baby daddy, especially men as well, gentlemen, if you impregnate a woman, as a man, you are forced to do three things. Number one, because by impregnating their daughter, you need to follow the traditional protocol by cleansing your girlfriend's mother's household. Point number one. Point number two, enza imbelego for the child. Number three, then you pay for damages for impregnating the child. A lot of men are having serious bad luck in their lives because they did not follow the traditional protocol. And then from there, ladies, when you have a child, the child takes the mother's surname. Gentlemen, you cannot give your child your surname if you and baby mama are not married. However, if Ubaba Wengane wants to wants the child to inherit their surname, melut ay lobole ingane. Ingane iyalotsholwa. Let's get that clear, guys. Then also I'd like to talk about as well is isithembu. Now, guys, people wake up in the morning and say, hey, I want isithembu, I want isithembu. Ladies, now I'm going to educate you guys. This is how isithembu boils down. If let me use myself for example. If my forefather from my father's side of the family, if my forefathers from my father's side of the family, the ancestors, one of them had isithembu, that means that the chances of my father having isithembu would be very, very high. If my father takes less isithembu, I would have to take less isithembu because it's a long generational thing that started from the forefathers. However, ladies, I'm educating you guys now. If you're, especially men, you cannot take isithembu if your own father does not have isithembu. Who are you as a man to take isithembu if your own father who married your mother did not take isithembu? It is a generational thing which starts from the ancestors. If there was isithembu from the ancestors, yes, your father takes isithembu, then it gets passed on to the son. But if there was no isithembu from the forefathers, from the side of the family, then no youngster can wake up in the morning and say, I want isithembu. Ladies, do not let these men take you for a ride. This is how isithembu goes. This is how isithembu works. I've been explaining this for quite some time now. And then that's about it, guys. And then also I'd like to talk about black businesses as well. How to make a black business successful. Business owners, pay your employees a flat salary fee and also register them for UIF. 90% of businesses, they fail because of, number one, we don't follow rules and regulations. Number two, we use cheap products. Number three, we overwork our staff but we underpay them. And then number four, we don't register our staff for UIF and for taxes. Number five, we underpay our staff, and then when our staff steals from us tomorrow, we wonder why. At the end of the day, pay your staff a good flat salary fee. That's where they will not steal from you. Number two, business owners, do not overwork your staff and yet you don't want to pay for overtime. Pay for the overtime if you're going to overwork your staff. Which leads to point number three, register your businesses. Black businesses, register your businesses and register them for tax and have your employees registered for UIF. These are the reasons why. This is what makes businesses successful. The point number four, have a business account and use it for strictly business expenses and business purposes and overhead costs. The reason why businesses fail today is because we use money for the business to accommodate personal stuff. No. And business owners, pay your staff first before you pay yourself a salary. You cannot be paying your staff 3,000 Rand a month, but yet you're taking home a salary of 90,000 Rand a month. It does not make sense, business owners. Let's talk about this. These are the things that make a business successful. That you exceed the customer's expectations, number one. Number two, get back to the customer. Get back to the customer. Are you happy with your policy? Are you happy with your product? Are you happy with your service? Point number three, give 100% customer satisfaction. This leads to point number four, exceed the customer's expectations. Point number five, satisfy the customers, ensure the customer is happy with their product. These are the things that make a business successful. And business owners, one thing you guys must also know, if a normal person puts in 8 hours, a business owner should be putting in 16 hours a day, plus the additional hours because you're a business owner. That is it. It's as simple as that. Guys, at the end of the day, the purpose of these videos that I'm posting, it's to advise another black child, to motivate another black child. And it's also for me to teach others out there things that they do not know. That is the purpose of my YouTube videos. So guys, I hope you guys have learned a thing or two. I've spoken about Lobola as well. The purpose of Lobola as well is to bring the families together. If you are marrying a woman who's a virgin, you can pay easily 100,000 or 150,000. But gentlemen, take note, you cannot pay 50,000 Rand for a woman who's carrying another man's child. And only if she does not have a child, you can pay 50 to 60,000. Another thing, people have been asking me, tools, what happens if I marry a woman who has a child? When you marry a woman who has a child, ladies and gentlemen, the child remains at her mother's house You take the mother, and you go and stay in Santon, Midrand, or wherever. This is how that's how it works. Unless if you guys come to an agreement that the child can come and live with you, but tradition says that you the child remains in the mother's house. Ladies, take note. Also, as well, a point that I was going to mention is that ladies, you sit down and you have a discussion with your husband in terms of how the kids are going to work, who's going to stay who and wherever. That's how it works, guys. So at the end of the day, I hope everybody learns a thing or two from this. And yeah, that's about it. It is your boy, 2777, over and out.